Today in Albany, New York, Governor Kathy Hochul announces new efforts to address the state's growing migrant crisis.
Yeah, Erie News Now State Capitol correspondent Elise Klein is explaining tonight these latest developments. Take a listen.
Earlier this morning, Governor Kathy Hochul sends a letter to the White House asking them to provide expedited work authorizations, financial assistance, and the use of federal lands and facilities for shelters.
This crisis originated with the federal government, and it must be resolved through the federal government.
This year's state budget includes more than $1 billion to address the migrant crisis. And earlier this week, Governor Hochul announced an additional $20 million to help with casework filings of more than 30,000 asylum seekers. State officials say these services will be targeted at helping people move to independent living.
If we can't slow the flow of people to New York City, we want to make sure that we limit the time that they have to be in shelter. That will both reduce the shelter population, it will help take pressure off of the city's operations, and it's good for people.
And while state leaders continue to manage this issue in the city, some New York State lawmakers express concern about asylum seekers coming to upstate communities. Assemblymember Phil Palmisano says some lawmakers want to make sure certain communities who rely on hotels and other forms of shelter are protected, including veterans, domestic violence victims, and homeless individuals.
And we want to make sure those vulnerable populations are protected and they're taken care of first. We just do not have the infrastructure and services that we can provide to these individuals.
Recently introduced legislation intends to address some of these concerns by prohibiting hotels and homeless shelters from displacing individuals and authorizing local municipalities to override a state of emergency. In Albany, Elise Klein, Erie News Now.